Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm going to briefly and maybe even awkwardly share with you 5 software engineering lessons that I've experienced over the past year. Long story short, I wasn't a coder at all for most of my life. I decided to make a change in my life. I was working in sales and stuff like that, and then I decided I wanted to pivot completely and just went down this software engineering journey and went from a boot camp to an apprenticeship to now a full-time job as a software engineer, all in the span of a year. So I wanted to share some lessons and then open up the dialogue for anyone who's interested, maybe in the comments or whatever. I think the first insight that I want to share with you is that software engineering is very much a TIFE sport. The best way that I can describe it is that software engineering really incentivizes you to be autonomous, meaning that you basically understand things for yourself, you solve problems for yourself as much as possible. Of course, you can ask questions, but they're slowly teaching you to do things on your own and understand things on your own. And then, they create an environment to help you feel comfortable while you're doing this hard work, right? So whether you're feeling safe in your various identities or your various cultural differences, whether it's just purely emotionally, right? Like they create a very open space for you emotionally to kind of do things and feel things. And, that I think has been very interesting. I think that as someone with TE and FI, it took me a while to adjust. I'm going to be very honest, because I'm very much a group problem solver. I'm very much I'm very much a get the job done good enough instead of trying to get a deep understanding. So I had to basically be trained out of that habit and try and understand things for myself. And then also in terms of the FE, the best workaround that I found for it is just share my emotions. I'm not an FE god or anything like that, but sharing my own emotions, sharing my feelings about things, that's basically what I do. The second lesson that I want to tell you guys is, so software engineering, at least where I work, they literally say we're looking for specialists, right? So if you're a generalist, it's not like there's no place for generalization. It's more along the lines of generalization is only a tool to help further the specialization as an individual contributor as a software engineer, right? The way that they describe it is they call it the T model, which basically means you're a deep expert in one or a couple of subjects, and then you have a broad understanding of the rest of the business enough that you can collaborate with other departments, but you're not responsible for those other departments like a generalist would be, right? You are the specialist. And so for me as a generalist, I'm a number one. So I'm a number one, so it was not that bad. I think I get it. I can balance number 2 and number 3 pretty well. So it wasn't like the worst thing in the world. I just think that there were some times where I got so caught up in the end product and I got so caught up in trying to juggle a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't really, I wasn't an expert the way that I needed to be, right? Let me just say that. And so that's kind of the second lesson if you're going into software engineering, is that you definitely want to lean into or develop that expert side, the one that takes pride in work, the one that really wants things done the right way. That's what you're being rewarded for. I think the third lesson for me personally is that, and this kind of goes in the spirit of generalization, is that I really like product design. Now, I thought that initially I thought product design was like an NISE thing, where it's like, oh yeah, like you really want to, understand the end goal and then kind of create a product that serves that end goal. I think there is a place for NISE, but especially after being a part of the OP community and seeing Anna, really, or Anna, I don't know how to say her name, who's a product designer and she's a Delta as well, who's double activated on SF Sleep. I am wondering if that's just my SF Sleep wanting to be a part of crafting a good product for people. That's something that I'm very interested in, and that's something that I want to explore a lot more. I also think that this kind of taps into the generalist side of me, where it's like I want a holistic vision of what the product's going to bring to people. I don't just want to work on the product. I don't just want to talk about the product. I don't just want to market the product. I want a holistic view of how this product is developed from start to finish and how I can contribute to that, right? I think the fourth lesson, this one's a little bit harder because I struggled with this a lot, and I think some people in the OP community see this in me, is I get emotionally derailed very quickly the moment I get negative feedback, right? I had to learn the art of absorbing negative feedback. And from an OP perspective, I think this has to do with demon masculine FI. I have very strong emotions, but much like all TEs, I have a very hard time with negative emotion, right? So the moment I have strong negative emotion, my day is just ruined. I'm like, I don't want to work anymore. Don't talk to me. I'm sad. I'm mad, and so I had to learn really how to calm down and really how to work through the stress, right? And the best way that I feel to work through the stress is through breaking it down. I even use ChatGPT for this. Breaking down my stress and my problems into very small doses and negotiating with myself as to what I'm willing to do, right? It's like, hey, are you willing to open your laptop? Great. Are you willing to open the code base? Great. Are you willing to work on the project for 5 minutes? Not even an hour, 5 minutes, and then you could kind of take a water break or something like that. I had to rebuild that momentum the moment I was derailed emotionally. And that's something that I had to do again and again throughout the evaluation process. It was very hard. And then the last lesson is really about, unsurprisingly, about SI, if you know my type. I had to learn the art of receiving feedback, right? Not just negative emotional feedback, but just like feedback on how to do things, right? Hey, Reggie, I really want you to explore the code base more. Hey, Reggie, I really want you to do this on the project. Hey, I want you to explore XYZ. Right? And so I think that, there were certain SI routines that I think everyone else does, but I, for some reason, didn't learn or didn't value, that I had to learn to implement. Note taking, note reviewing, asking very structured questions, and rephrasing feedback so that we were on the same page instead of assuming. Those were the key SI, blast, and sleep behaviors that I had to learn. And I honestly struggled because I didn't have those SI routines already in place. So it's like, it took me like several months to really get up to speed on what I needed to do. And so I think that's it. I think, I don't necessarily want to get into detail on the journey or, how things went. I'm happy to talk to you all about that in a future video if you're interested. But I just wanted to kind of get straight to the point instead of making this like a 30-minute video. This is something that I'm very passionate about though, and I want to help as many people as possible in if they're on a similar journey. So by all means, feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. If there's anything else you want to learn about, feel free to tell me as well, and I'll do my best. So that's about it. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.